Hey guys, I'm gonna do a quick live here. I'm gonna take Spry outside. Kennel. Been super quiet all afternoon. She's been great. Worked most of the afternoon in the kitchen. Never heard a peep from her. So she's been quiet. I took her for a real good walk this morning. So all the dogs, I think, were really calm and quiet today. Just really nice to have around. Spry. So definitely she's gonna have to go to the bathroom right away. There's her habit that has formed. Come over, sit down. So I'm gonna show, because it is light out today. Spry. Good girl. It's plenty light out, so you'll be able to see. We did get some snow today. Take her out. She's gonna go to the bathroom. Come on. Come on. Then we're going to get a little recall to get her back inside. I am going to feed her. We're going to do a phone call tonight with Nicole. If you remember, we did it about a week ago. We called Nicole. She had Maverick. Maverick was 8 weeks. I'm going to let her see if she has to go to the bathroom. I don't want her necessarily getting a drink. There's obviously water everywhere. Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up. She has a tendency to go over there and go to the bathroom lately, which is fine, further off the yard. This will be all disked up anyway. It's going to be a food plot anyway, so I don't care if she goes here right now. It's not in my yard. April Marie joined. Welcome, April. So I'm going to let her sniff around a little bit, see if she does decide that she's got to go. If she does, I think she'll head that way, which she is moving that way. But we're going to do a call to Nicole at 6:15. We're going to find out how things are going with Maverick. I want to find out because if you remember, she had an 8-week-old puppy that was having all kinds of issues. April, another April in, Mark's in. He's in, but he's at work. So if this pup just wants to come over here and sniff around the chicken coop, I'm not going to allow it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. She's got an egg. No. Get out of there. Come on. Come on. So she doesn't have, she's telling me I don't have to go. Because she's fooling around. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. Come on. Let's go. Good girl. So I turned this into kind of a game to get her back in. Now, I didn't do this the first time, and you guys know that. So if you're new to this, you're going to go, oh, it doesn't happen that easy. No, it doesn't. We've worked on a recall. Very good. Alright, come on. We've worked on a lot of recall. Right here in the kitchen, right here in the house, is where it all started. Let me get my boots off. Taylor, come here. Taylor can go outside. So this is just habit forming with this pup. I love it. Because she's just getting into really good habits. Sit when she gets by the door. Come here. Very good. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to do, because we got about 5 minutes. I'm going to put her, I'm going to flip this around. I've got my tripod ready here. There's her place she's going to use. So I'm going to ask you guys, Marty, good evening. April, do me a favor, guys. Share away on this. You guys know that's how we grow the numbers. That's how we grow. Share it to someone that you think this could help. I'm going to leave her there. I don't know if you can see her. Yeah, you can see her. So, right now, it's a practice for remote sit. That was a nice little practice for a remote sit. So you can see, she's barely in the frame. So I'm just going to do a little short heel work with her. But you can see I ask her all the time, pretty often, to just sit. And then I move around the house. I've got Ellie right next to her. No problem. She gets it. So we worked really hard on sit. We worked really hard on steadiness and being calm. She's going to have to eat yet. But notice I'm just walking past her. It's nothing more than an extension of remote sit. Practice it all the time. Now this is a session. This is a lesson. This is where we're going to focus on something. I'm working on it all the time. We do. I don't know how many times I've done this today. Let's see. That might be Nicole calling in. Nicole, is that you?
Yes.
All right.
Sorry, my son's in the background.
No, that's all right. So Nicole is in. Nicole, I'm going to give me 1 minute here. I'm actually live right now, and I'm just going to feed the pup on our end, and then we'll go right into you. So, guys, just hang in. I'm just going to leave this pup sit right there. I'm going to get her food ready. So Nicole, all I got going is I've got Spry, our pup, and we just started a couple minutes ago because I knew she was going to have to go outside. She's been in the kennel all day. So I let her out. Now I'm going to feed her, and everybody's watching her eat. And then we're going to go. So she sat there the whole time, right, guys? She just watched this. Spry. Now I can let her eat. Now actually, I'm going to show you something real quick that we've been working on. I'm going to spin this around. So I've been working on trying to get the pup to kennel, which is something we're going to talk about with Nicole tonight. So I'm going to bring the pup over here, and you might not sit. So I put the food right in the kennel. Spry. And she shoots right in. So I'm going to let her be in there to eat while we go back over here. I just got to bring this dog in. Taylor! Come on. Come on. Good girl. Go lay down. All right. So we're back. Nicole, do I still have you?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm live right now, Nicole. I'm going to ask you guys that are watching to do me a favor and share these while we're watching them. I think that is a great way for us to grow it. How are you doing, Nicole?
I'm doing good.
Good. I'm going to ask you guys to let me know if you can hear Nicole. I'm going to turn this so that you can see this. And then I've got a couple things too that I made notes for tonight. So if someone, Justin's in, Chris is in, Mark's in, James Lewis joined, Justin, welcome Justin, Matt Green, Jeff Trudell got in, another Justin, Craig Brown, Jason. So we got some people adding in. Do me a favor, guys. Answer if Jeff shared it. I appreciate it. Let me know loud and clear. Jeff Trudell said, so we can hear you good, Nicole. I don't have a lot planned for Nicole tonight, but what I wanted to do was I wanted to follow up because Nicole, we've messaged a little bit, but I was gone last week, and you messaged. It sounded like with Steph quite a bit, huh?
Yeah, I did. She helped walk me through some of it.
Awesome. So that's good. What I wanted to do, Nicole, what I was hoping to do was get a chance to, first off, catch back up and find out, because you did send me one video while I was gone, and I think we kind of left it last week. Just for people that are watching right now, if you didn't see it it wasn't even last week, it was the week before, wasn't it?
Yep.
So it was the week before. I'm going to go get that bowl real quick. Hold on, Nicole. I'm going to go grab that bowl out of here because I know it's going to get real loud real quick. Spry. We'll take Spry out, and I'll put Spry on place during this. Spry, get up. Get up. Get up. Here. Come on. No. Come on. Place. Get up. Good. Okay. So I just took Spry out and got her on place. So if you guys are new, didn't see it last week, 2 weeks ago I guess it was, I called Nicole because Nicole had a puppy. Now Maverick was he 8 weeks when we first talked, Nicole?
He was going to be 8 weeks.
Going to be 8 weeks.
A day away from the amp.
Okay, so how old is he right now? He's pushing
9.
9 weeks. He's pushing 10 weeks at the end of this week, right?
Yep.
Okay. So when we first talked, Nicole was having some issues with, I would say the biggest thing was getting him to settle in, right? We talked about him kenneling and getting in the kennel, getting in a spot where he was quiet because he would bark and howl and he was real loud, right?
Yep.
Okay, so one of the things we talked about, welcome Brent, welcome Krista Yisker. One of the things we talked about was kind of your setup. And did you make some adjustments to your setup?
Well, I ended up using my baby gate idea.
Okay.
And I kept it the same size.
Okay.
But it wasn't so I made sure it was secure. I made sure that he couldn't escape like he did before.
Right.
But I ran into an issue 2 days after I had secured the spot. He started peeing on the concrete outside of his kennel, and it was at that point I didn't really know what I was doing wrong because I felt like I was letting him out really as frequent as I should be, and kind of hoping that he'd learn to hold it a little bit.
Yep.
But he started messing in there. So then I took him out of the enclosure and actually put him into the kennel.
Yep.
In hopes that would kind of help control it. And then he started wetting in his kennel.
Ooh. Okay.
So then I was really confused, and I didn't know what to do, and that's when I started bugging Steph for some help because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and I don't want to end up, like how Gage was, and it just made me panic.
Right,
so.
right. Okay. So, tell me about that. So what did you guys do? I'm curious.
Well, I found a smaller kennel.
Okay.
It's like a cat kennel, so
Yep.
it's really small.
Yep.
And I know this sounds really mean, but I actually took the bedding out of it. He would pee and just saturate it, and then
Totally.
I took the bedding out of it. Well, then he would pee on that, or then he would pee in the kennel, and then he would just be dripping wet. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a mess. Like, what am I going to do? So when I put him in the smaller kennel, I didn't give him any bedding as well, and he stopped.
Okay.
But I literally got up every hour at night and let him out every hour. So then, like Steph said, she's like, you got to figure what's going in is going to come out. So maybe you're still giving him too much water.
Right.
And I felt like I wasn't giving him too much, but I cut it down even still. And then, like I said, I would get up every hour, and that's overboard, but I didn't want him to start this habit. And he didn't have an accident that night or the next night, but then the night after he did again, and then today, he's been good all the way up until today, and then today he did again. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to stop that or what I should be doing to change his mind, but for the most part, he doesn't do it.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So I'm gonna back up because I didn't know. Steph's the secret keeper. She didn't tell me any of this stuff. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't know that this. I didn't. No. I didn't know that this was an issue. So I'm glad it came up. So I like the idea of shrinking the kennel. Like, what kind of kennel did you have him in before? A pretty good size one.
I mean, it's not huge, but I guess it was big enough for him to kind of move and lay down from the back to the front.
Yep.
So it was big enough.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't have to be that. See, here's the thing. I don't think they need to be very big. Like, Spry is still fitting in probably a borderline. I would call it maybe a cat kennel. It's pretty little. So I think as long as they can stand up in it, and they don't. I mean, Spry can still stand up in hers, and her back doesn't touch the ceiling or whatever. So I feel like it's fine. I think I don't have the issue right now with having accidents, so I think I can get away with putting her in a bigger kennel. But right now, I totally think it was a good move to shrink the kennel up as small as you can get it. So and that seemed to help. Now, the concerning thing to me is you're 9 weeks. You're 9 weeks now, so you're 2 weeks into this, and what I don't want is if he's still having accidents this week, we have to fix this like right now, because it's just gonna get so much harder. And how many total accidents do you think he's had since?
Probably 6 or 7.
It's too many.
Like to the point where it's like the kennel is absolutely saturated and he's covered in it. And I was like, well, maybe I should be putting bedding in there because now he's laying in his own pee.
No. We don't want to make it any more appealing to do it. So first off, so this is good. if he's peeing that much that he's soaked in it, he's drinking way too much water. Like, your dog doesn't need, like, you got cut way back. So what I would do is, so I would go with that little test that I don't know if I talked about it with you or not. Someone I talked about it with, a tent test where you pinch the hide in between their shoulder blades, and you lift them up with it, and then let it go. And if the hide goes, if the skin just goes back flat, they're plenty hydrated. As soon as it starts sticking and not going back, then you might be showing. Then you're going to start. Then I say, okay, you got some signs of dehydration. So that test is done by vets. My vet did it when we had these pups in. I had these little pups when they were little, and they had bad diarrhea, and I was really freaking out because they were little. And I was like, I got to get these dogs to eat. And so the fear with that when they're real little is dehydration. So that was the test we were doing to make sure that we weren't getting too dehydrated, like dangerously. So you don't have that issue. Get up. Get up. I got a pup that's creeping on me. You don't have that issue right now. It's not a safety thing. It's not a health thing. It's just simply your dog's not sick. I want to know, like, if you start cutting back too much water to know if the pup's getting dehydrated. You would really have to get them cut back to get them dehydrated. So I think, first off, if it's peeing that much, too much water, no doubt about it. So what I would start doing, so how often is he getting access to get a drink?
He only gets a drink, in the morning, and then with his food, and then he gets a drink in the evening,
Yeah.
But the thing is like when I reduced his water, the days that he didn't have an accident, his skin was slower, not like it wouldn't snap back, and so I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm dehydrating him, the poor dog.
Yeah.
So then I started giving him more water, and then the accidents happened again.
Ding.
So I don't know if he just absolutely won't hold it.
No. Well, he's 9 weeks old. He's a puppy. So I don't think that they have complete control. Like, I don't think they want to pee. The problem is if they start it, they think it's acceptable. Okay, your dog started it. He thinks it's okay now. So what you need to do is you need to really dig your heels in and go, zero tolerance, no more. We're not going to have accidents. We have to change this. And it's not too late, but you can't go 4 or 5 a week. Like, that's too much. So what I think you need to do is back the water down. So when you had some success and you maybe sensed slightly that the skin wasn't snapping back, that's probably about the hydration level you need to be at in order to help him succeed. Okay, so that's part of it.
Okay.
The other part of it is, from a frequency standpoint, when you take him outside, does he go to the bathroom every single time?
Yeah, but what's weird is, so right after I talked to you and I started, using Place, I tried sending you a message. I ended up just, I don't know if I talked to you about it or not, but he goes outside. I took him outside. Right after he eats, I take him outside because he seems to want to go out. And I don't think he empties his bladder all the way. Sure. And my vet said a lot of people run into this problem. So I brought him back in. Well, he always whines. So I never know if you really got to go out, or are you just whining to whine. Right. So then he just, five minutes into being put on his place, then he peed all over it. Yeah, see. So I call it the old, it's the BS test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call him out for BSing me. So what I do is I fail on the side of let him out. If they whine and fuss, let him out. As long as he pees, he earned the opportunity to go out again next time he whines and fusses, because it tells me he had to go. Okay, so the problem, what'll happen is these dogs are super smart, and I think you ran into it last time we talked. You had the issue of, I think you said you were letting him out every half hour. And so, but he was having a really hard time settling back in, and he was never shutting up, and he was just so loud. Well, he got on a routine, a schedule, a habit of about every half hour, Mom's going to let me out. About the time I get in, there's not enough time for me to settle back down, so I might as well just fuss it out till the next half hour and then go back outside. And it was just a bad repetition that the dog was probably wired to be on a 30-minute
alarm internally in his head where it's time to go out, because I go out every half hour. So I don't want that. So it's the fine line and balance of too much or not enough. You have to find that. That's what we're looking for right now. So you haven't found it yet. We'll find it. But what I think is happening. So here's my little BS test is when my pups go out. So my pup just ate. Okay, she just ate. She just drank. She does not poop right away. She waits a little while. Some go right away. She's 35 to 45 minutes later. She'll do her business and mean it. So what I do is I just put her on here. She's fussy a little bit. She's not real settled. I don't think she has to go to the bathroom. The reason I don't think she has to go to the bathroom is because 5 minutes ago, before I fed her, I took her outside and she ate. Okay. Now if she was Maverick, 9 weeks old, and I brought her in and she eats and she drinks because she gets her water with her food, if that happened and she got on this little place and she just wouldn't settle in, I mean, she just really paced around, wouldn't lay down, really acted fussy. And this is you figuring out how to read him. It's me figuring out it's everyone trying to read their dog, figure out. Like I can look at my dogs and I feel like sometimes I can look them in the eye and I go, she's got to go to the bathroom. I can just see it. Now, it takes a long time, and each dog is different, so I can't just do it with every dog and go, oh, that one's got to go to the bathroom. I got to get to know the dog pretty well, but I get to the point where I know the dog well enough where I can look at him and I go, she's just got that look. She's got to go to the bathroom. I take him outside, and most of the time I'm right. After a while, you need to develop that, so it's going to take some time. But if she was 9 weeks old...
I was going to say, I'm failing at that big time, because
that's all right.
like right now on his place, you can hear him, he's whining, and I'm like, well, you were just out 5-6 minutes ago.
Okay, right, right.
Just sit there and whine and whine.
So that was good. That's all right. You'll have to fail in order to have success. Like you gotta. So don't worry about that. But what I would do is with that puppy. Okay, so he's on his place right now.
Yes.
He was out 6 minutes ago?
He was out probably almost 10 minutes ago, but he's been out twice since he's 8.
Okay, when did he eat?
This is his second, this is his
When did he eat?
time.
When did he eat?
45 minutes ago.
Okay. Did he pee both times he's been out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he passed the test. So now if he gets in 10 minutes and he's even remotely settled, but then he becomes antsy again, take him back out. So I don't know how hard or easy it is for you, but take him back out, put him down, tell him to hurry up. And if he goes right away, he passed the test. He earned another one. Because what's going to happen is pretty soon you're going to take him out there and he's not going to pee. He's not going to have to go. He might be fussing and...
Yep, and I've had that happen to me a couple times now where he's just like, ha.
Right, he tricked you. Now
now
we're out there. So that's where I call BS and I go, oh, now you're stuck. Now you have to fall asleep before you get to go outside. Now you have to be quiet and sleep. Because what you'll do is you'll bring him back in and he's either placed to kennel, one of the two, and then he is out. He's got to check out. He can fuss all he wants. He's not going back out. He already told me he doesn't have to go to the bathroom. So now he's got to lay down. He's got to fall asleep. And as soon as he wakes up, or I wake him up, he's back outside, and he's probably going to go to the bathroom. So we just have, right now, you just have to figure out this routine. Because that's the problem. It's the routine. So
I'm testing him right now. I'm going to see if this whining is for real.
Yeah, take him outside. If he pees, hey, Maverick, you get to do it again.
Hurry up.
So we're going to wait and see if he pees. I'm interested to the people.
Looking at me like, sucker.
I'm interested that I'm going to talk to the people that are watching live right now. Let me know if you're having issues with housebreaking. Because I think
house. Well, now what do I do, Jeremy? He didn't want to pee. He wanted to play, so now he's just frolicking around.
All right, so get him back.
Now, I got him.
Okay, bring him back in. Bring him back. Yep. Bring him back in. Now, if he comes in and he pees on his bed, which he could, I don't think he will. But if he comes in and he pees on his bed, then I think then the adjustment goes, okay, I have to take him outside. I got to give him a little more time, because sometimes they just take a little more time. But you know him well.
Yep.
If he's got to go, will
Yep.
he go right away? Sometimes they take longer. Sometimes they don't. Most of them don't. But
Yeah, he doesn't. Usually if I put him down, he's got to pee. He'll pee.
Perfect.
Or he'll walk around and sniff around. But instantly I put him down, he started running.
good. So you've
Running around in circles.
good. So you've got him. You understand then. You've got him read on that. So when he comes out and he doesn't pee, that tells me reset the clock. Put him. He's gonna fuss. He can do whatever he wants. He's not going back outside because of whining. We got him. Okay. So that's going forward. That's how you're going to operate that way. But watering when you feed him, I'm fine with it. Keep doing it. It might be too much. Maybe back off just a little bit on that water, okay? And then when he goes outside, make sure he's not getting into puddles. My dogs, there's puddles everywhere right now. So it doesn't take, you realize how quickly they can drink. So if he just has access to a little puddle because you're not paying attention, that's like a big red alert. Like a flag goes up, because now you go, oh no, I have to let him out a lot more frequently. That's why I don't want to give free water, and that's why I'm not going to let him have drinks throughout the day until he shows me he's getting dehydrated. And right now, if he's peeing so much he's wallowing in it, he's not dehydrated. So we got to back off with that water and control it a little bit better. And then, are you having issues? Is the peeing during the day or at night in the kennel? Or is it equal?
It can be during the day. It can be at night.
Okay, so
but that's just because, like you said, I allow him to cry wolf once, and then I make him stay in there for at least an hour.
yeah,
Until he quiets down and stuff, and then I'll take him back out. But sometimes he has an accident. But like I said, not when he's in his little kennel now anymore. And he actually will make it a couple hours stretch at night
Good.
before I get up and let him out.
Good.
But he was in a bigger kennel today. He was in a bigger kennel because we went to the vet.
yeah.
And he was in a bigger kennel in the back with a towel in it, and then he peed in it. And he was only in there for 45 minutes.
Yeah, see, got to eliminate that. We got to eliminate that big kennel. I wouldn't. So the kennel's going to be a fix. It's the routine. It's the routine that's going to fix this. We have to get you getting understanding, like, because it's going to, here's the thing, once you find the combination, like this is this lock, okay, and once you find the combination, you're going to go, oh God, that made a lot of sense. But until you have the combination, you look like a fool searching for numbers. Right now, you maybe have one number out of 4. You need all 4 in order for this to work. So it's going to be like that to me is your number 1 priority. Like, I don't know how everything else is going, but that to me that's number 1, first and foremost. So there, I think, is our plan. You have to be on a more strict. You gotta play the BS game with them. Give them the opportunity to cry wolf once. Once you catch them, then you go, you know what, you're stuck. Now the other problem is, if he won't hold it very long, like, because he's only 9 weeks, and I really believe that up to maybe 12 weeks is when they physically struggle to hold it. So I don't hold it against a pup too hard if they have an accident prior to that 11, 12 weeks old. I minimize it. I mean, Spry hasn't had an accident in a kennel since she was the first week I had her, okay? But I've been super Nazi about it. Like, I am really, really adamant about her schedule, her routine, making sure she's going to the bathroom outside and not having the accidents inside. Now, you've had some inside. You got to reverse it. You got to be more aggressive than I was when I started, because you got a habit that has started that now you have to reverse. That takes more work than forming good habits with blank slates. So you can do it, but you're going to have to just really dial in. That's going to have to be your focus.
Okay.
So,
yeah, because it seemed like, so one thing got better was it's usually only when he's on place. He will sit and whine the entire time, but he's actually quiet in his kennel.
Sweet.
He will fuss for maybe 2 minutes, and then he is completely quiet until he has to go out again. But like, I don't know, you probably can't really hear him, but right now, it's just this really high-pitched, annoying whine, and he's just kind of sitting there looking at you, but he just does it all the time. And I notice that now when I'm trying to do the feeding, and wait for him to settle, he physically will be settled, but he's still making that high-pitched whining noise.
Yeah, it doesn't count. It doesn't count. Feeding doesn't happen until everything. Whining, shaking, heartbeats, fussing, anything. Did you hear that? So I'm gonna turn this. I'm gonna turn this onto my pup so that people can see this. Cause she's relatively unsettled right now too. This is Spry I'm talking about. So I'm gonna turn this so that everyone can watch Spry, and we'll talk about her settling in or lack of settling in, because that's what I've got right now. So she knows I'm talking about her, so she kind of gets excited and whatever. But so squeaking has to stop like right now. So so let's switch gears. Let's talk about the feeding part. So how do you feel about you feel good about the idea of what we're gonna do with this housebreaking thing, because it's really important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like I just, like you said, I have to figure out kind of what his combination is, what I need to do, and then if he cries wolf, I guess pick him up, bring him back in, and make him wait it out.
Yep. Yeah. Then.
He's 9 weeks old.
Yeah. Then you're gonna put him. Then you're gonna have to like deal with the whining, deal with any fussing or anything, and it's right back to at least you know it. So then it's just an idea of the dog learning to settle in. It's not the idea of it has to go to the bathroom. So that's the thing that we're constantly juggling in my mind when we've got these dogs, and I'm being adamant about being stern and not giving in, and don't let them out of the kennels, don't let them out of the pen, don't let them off a place until they settle. And so the reward for them is the idea of, okay, my behavior gets the reward. The behavior is settle in, shut up, be quiet, calm. Okay, like my dog just laid down. As soon as I put the the phone on her, now she got back up. But I put the phone on her, I quit paying any attention to her, and all of a sudden she laid down and she settled. Well, now she's gotten back up and she's pretty teased and tempted because I got another dog laying right next to her. So I'm gonna force her to just settle in, right? Well, the problem is when they're little like yours, you got in the back of your mind, well, maybe he's got to go to the bathroom. And I got to work really hard on this bathroom thing. So first things first, the bathroom's got to get fixed. Like that is your priority, okay? So the thing about once you get the routine better, once you figure out the controlling of the water and you're giving them just enough to keep them from being dehydrated, once you get that done, that's going to help you. But that stuff is first and foremost. So now let's talk about some of the other issues that you had with kennel. I'd like to hear some success. So tell me about that.
So when I first got him home, we talked about he was like screaming and hollering, and he would be completely unsettled for hours at a time. And day by day, he slowly would get better. That day that I talked to you was the first day that he was quiet in his kennel, and from then on, he was quiet. He quieted down, and at night I could sleep, 3-hour stretches, which was great. And then I would get up with him because he would wake me up and let me know.
Yeah.
And that worked out wonderful for me. And now it's got to the point where if I let him, he'll sleep for 5 hours and then wake me up. So
Sure.
He's getting way better, and he's settled and he's quiet. And I think he's found out that his kennel is kind of his little comfort zone. And
Safe.
He settles in really nice. It's perfect.
Yep.
So
Good.
as far as that goes, which worked out. The only issue I have with whining and settling now is on his plate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 2 weeks ago, the big struggle was he barked and whined and he fussed and cried in the kennel really bad. So this is a good example of micro and macro. When we talked last week, the big issue, the big concern, there were several things on your plate, but one of the biggest things was I can't even get the dog to settle in. He's escaping. He's crawling out of where I am and he's raising hell. So I would say it's only been my answer is going to be, it's only been a week and a half to 2 weeks, and you've seen some really nice improvement with that part of this whole big picture. Yeah. So that's a micro example of really, really positive progress in the right direction. Now the big picture is still the big picture, and you got a long ways to go there. But in a relatively short time, like if I had told you 2 weeks ago, look, Nicole, you're 2 weeks out from having the dog be able to lay in the kennel for 3 to 5 hours and be quiet. I think my feeling would be, if I were you, I'd have been like, oh my God, how am I going to put up with this? How am I going to put up with this for 2 weeks? Well, 2 weeks came and went, like it's gone, and you've got it, and it worked, and look how quickly it happened. Like day to day, it probably wasn't as noticeable, but a week, 2 weeks, really noticeable. So enjoy that. I think that's good. Look back on it and go, man, I'm a lot further today than I was 2 weeks ago. Now, the issue isn't so much the kennel. You're kind of happy with the kennel. The problem is this damn play sport. Well, it sounds like he's just whining on this bed, and it sounds a lot like our last conversation, except instead of the kennel, now it's the bed. So what I'm getting at is, give it 1 more week, give it 2 more weeks, and then let's talk. Because I'd be willing to bet that in a week or two you're going to go, it's really nice because he's settled in on the bed and he's done this, but this is the issue and it's driving me nuts. Okay, well then let's work on that. And then in a week or two we'll talk about it. And all of a sudden we're 6 weeks into this process and you're looking back on this stuff and going, the stuff that I was pulling my hair out at 7, 9, 11 weeks old, all of a sudden that's the easy stuff. Now I'm struggling with this, now I'm struggling with that. So that's I'm just simply saying, that's the way it happens. That's how it goes. So you're right on pace. So perfect. Now, how about feeding and settling down? Because I got to share this with everyone. I got a message from Nicole. She sent me a video, and the pup she was holding in her arms, I got to give her an attaboy for this. She held on to it. She sent me a probably 2-minute video, and the text said this was after 46 minutes. And so when she was holding on to that puppy, I'm watching, and I could kind of sense frustration a little bit in her. If I was holding on to the dog for 44 minutes at that point, I probably would have been, okay, when are we going to change? Part of that, Nicole, is just working through that and going, you know what? The more frustrated I get, the less likely it's going to happen. So like mentally, you just got to go, kind of laugh about it inside and go, it could have been a lot longer, so 44 minutes isn't that bad. And all of a sudden you'll go, oh my God, the dog settled. You won't even notice it, and it happens. It's like that watched pot never boils. So as soon as you quit thinking about when is he going to settle, it might happen quicker. But I'm watching the video, and 2 minutes into the video, all of a sudden I see this little pup get shifted, I think maybe twice in your arms, and then all of a sudden I got to watch the video again because I should have watched it before we did this, but I feel like when I watched it I smiled and I went, now. And as soon as, in my head, I said it to myself, and as soon as I said now, like you put him down. And it was like, so your timing was impeccable. Your timing was right on. He finally settled in, and you sat him down. So that was good. The thing I think that I didn't fire it back at you, but because I was at that trade show. But what I wanted to do was say, how did the second repetition go, and how did the third repetition go? Because if you remember, I said you got to do this, and get him to change, and then reward it. But then you got to do it again and get him to change and reward it, and then get him to do it again and get the change and then reward him. Because you got to remember, 1 repetition twice a day, so 2 repetitions in a 24-hour period is not enough to form a habit. And it's not enough for them to understand. So we can speed the process up by going 2, 3, maybe 4 repetitions every time you eat. Now all of a sudden you've got 8, 10, 12 repetitions in 24 hours. So you've just multiplied the amount of opportunities for the dog to learn by exponentially. So how did the second, third, have you done it where you get the dog to settle? First off, where are you at with settling in your arms to feed?
Well, I don't know exactly how long I should be making him be settled, but like, cause I watched all the videos with Spry back in, when she was younger, and so I would wait for him to settle and be quiet and just kind of hang there. And I have him timed up to a minute, which doesn't seem like a long time, but it kind of is.
Wait a minute, a minute of him being relaxed and calm in your arms?
Yep.
Okay, how long does it take to get to that?
Now he does it right away. It was like every consecutive time I did it, he's really fast. Like he learned sit after like 3 times. He was like, I know what that was mean.
Sure.
Obviously not reliably, but he was pretty quick. And so when he realized every time, I'm a little bit different than what you did, but every time he whined, I would move further because I couldn't get him to stop. Like I made it to an water one time, and I'm like, can't hold him anymore. And I was getting really frustrated, but every time he would whine, I would start stepping away, further away from the food, and then I would turn away from it, and then he would be like, okay, and then he would get quiet, so I would turn back towards the food, and I would take another step towards it. If he whined, I would go backward. And then he learned, oh, I better be quiet. So then he would be quiet, and then he would start to settle, and then it started faster. So then the next day it took 20 minutes, and then I did it 2 more times during that feeding, and it took only 3 minutes the second time, and it didn't take any time. And the next time he just hung there and just let me pick him up. And then now it's to the point where if I walk towards him, he backs away from his food and he sits down. So I have him to be settled in my arms. I can set him between my legs. He'll sit down and he'll wait, and I can time him for a minute before I send him.
That's great. So that's huge progress in a matter of 2 weeks, right? Like the first night was 49 minutes, and now you're having him sit in between your legs up to a minute of being calm before you're sending him. Tremendous. Okay, so that's huge. It's really big. So I don't think you have any issues there, right? That's going really well.
No, I don't feel like I do. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So now we need to start adding layers to it. So the question of how long, a minute is probably more than enough. Like, I don't know that I'd even push it that far, especially if you think it's going to push him over the edge and you're going to get a loss out of it. I don't want to go a minute and then have him screw it up, break, or do something where all of a sudden I go, God, now I have to start over. Because he's going to go, I don't know what's getting me the reward. It's going to be very confusing to him. So really, I don't push it any further than I think we're going to get to a breaking point and then send them. And at 9 weeks old, a minute is more than enough. I think the next step that I would do is I would get that bowl of food. So are you still starting them out in your arms, or are you starting them on the ground now? Do you start in the arms and then?
Where I make him sit.
Okay.
I just start him on the ground and I make him sit, and he just knows.
Yep.
When I go for a food bowl, he just sits down and he watches.
Absolutely.
And then I set his food dish down and he's just watching.
So you're like remote sits right now. You're doing remote.
Yeah, he's been really good with the remote sit. Yeah, that's what we've been working on. That was I know, like, this is off the topic here, but that's what I've been working on. But that's where I'm having issues with outside. Which I don't know if you want to get to that here in a little bit, but I was going to talk about recall. That's one of the issues I'm having is recall.
Yeah.
With him.
Okay. So stop. So what I'm going to say is now we're going to instead of, like, feeding is going to be a separate thing. Feeding is going to be to cap things off. So now what we're going to start doing is we're going to start recall work. We're going to start sit. It doesn't have anything to do with food. So, but this is gonna and this will test. So now we're gonna start, like, you've got, like, your sit, the whole sit thing that you're doing, the whole sit thing that we talk about, how it's easy to steady these dogs up. That's like one link in a chain. So you've got one link. But you need dogs to recall. You need dogs to sit. You need dogs to sit remotely. You need to send dogs on retreats. You need to do all these things. So those are all links. So the idea that you've built by the dog being steady during feeding time is great. That is how you're going to end the lesson. Now you're going to have different things you're going to work on prior to that are more links in the chain, and we're going to start connecting it to a session. So now it's not going to be a session that focuses on...
Before I feed him.
Yeah. Feeding's going to be the great grand finale. That's going to be the end. So what I would do is now what I'm going to start having to do is, okay, pups in the kennel. I think the one thing is I almost... Before I do a session with a dog, I want them in their kennel. Because I think they're in their kennel, they're focused, they come out fresh, they're mentally fresh, they're physically fresh. So what I want to do is bring them out of a kennel because they're calm, cool, and collected, rather than having them have some opportunity to be running and bubbling over and not really focused, and then I'm going to ask them to start focusing. That's too hard on them. So bring them out of the kennel, take them outside, have them go to the bathroom. Now, this is where a lot of people run into problems because they go, I can't recall him back in, he won't come back in. That's not where you work on recall. So if he's too quick and he won't come in, now when they're real little, they don't have a tendency to run off, but they're going to hit a point where they do. And I don't know if he's there yet or not. Is he there yet?
Uh,
Probably close by the tone of your voice. Okay, so if you take him out to go to the bathroom and you can't either pick him up physically because he gets away from you too quick, or he doesn't follow you back in the house, I think it's a great chance to get habits for him by getting him to follow you back in the house. That's what I did with Spry. But then I came to a point about 3 weeks ago where she hit a wall and she went, I don't think I'm going to come back in this time. So I realized right then my recall is not where it needs to be. This is probably 3-4 weeks ago. My recall is not good enough. So I didn't work on it when I took him out to the bathroom. I worked on it in the kitchen. That's what we're going to talk about right now. So you're going to start working, because you've got a dog that's figured out how to sit remotely and be steady and patient and wait for its food. That's good. Happened really quickly. So be grateful for that. But also be realistic and understand he's really little. So you may regress and have to go back to doing that to firm it up. But sounds like things are going really well. I would add a layer. My layer is going to be this. I would take the pup and you got an area that, when you said you got the puppy gate or the baby gate, do you have an area like a laundry room that you can move around in? It's not real big, but you can move around in, and the pup can move around in, or your kitchen, or some type of setup that you've got an area. It's not the whole house. It's one room. It's able to be contained, and this is where I work on recall. So I'm going to take a little bit of food in my pocket. I'm going to take a little bit of food. Have you worked on, like, with your sits? When you got him to sit, did you give him a piece of kibble ever? Like, kind of a reward of, that's a good boy, sit?
Sometimes, but I've moved away from I feel like it makes him spoiled brat.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's going to be, yeah. So you're going to phase out of it, which you did. Now you're going to bring the food back in, because this is new, okay? So I want recall, and I want recall to understand there's a piece of food when I get to mom. So my recall is going to be in that closed off area where you have all the control, and you're going to go from one side to the other, and you're just going to go, come on, Maverick, come here, come on. And he comes to you, and as soon as he comes to you, I want you to just squat down, give him a little piece of food, and tell him how good he is. Then walk to the other side of the room and do the same thing. And no, we're not asking him to sit. We're not asking him to be steady. We're not asking him to be calm. He can move around the small room with freedom. And he probably is going to boil up and get so excited. And Randy Birdsong always says his dog boot scoots. Like, it just tucks its tail in, and she starts scooting around. She's just so happy, free, excited. And what I want to do is, when you get to that point, you got to be able to get him to come back to you. Because mentally, he's losing it. Physically, he's got to work through it and come back to you. And when he comes back to you, give him a piece of kibble. And so I want you to do that maybe 3, 4, 5 times in a row, where you go from one side of the room, and wherever he is, go to the opposite. So if he goes to one side of the room, go to the opposite, call him to you. And make sure he comes to you and give him the kibble. And then when he gets to you, then ignore him, see where he wants to go. Wherever he goes, you go to the opposite end of the room, call him to you. Now we're getting recall practice. And practice is, they're going to...
What if he's delayed with his response? Like, what if you, come here, and you do all that stuff, and he takes maybe 20 seconds because he's busy smelling something or checking something out, and then he decides to cut, because that's what I'm dealing with. Then you need to pick up you need to elevate your intensity. That's why I don't get super excited if you don't have to, because at some point you're going to have to get super excited. And if you get super excited all the time, you can only get so excited. So save it. So use as little excitement as you need to get him to come, go. And if he comes to me, that's it. Good. Give him some kibble. Good. Maybe you go, so start out really low. Go to one side of the room and go, come on, Maverick, come on. And if he comes to you, give him kibble and go, oh, you're a good boy. Oh, you're a good boy. And then you go and you do it again, and all of a sudden he ignores you. So now you went, come on, Maverick. He didn't come. So then you go, come on, Maverick, come on. And all of a sudden he comes, oh, good boy. You start with as little as it takes to get him to come to you and give him a reward. But if you got to amp it up a little bit, you got to amp it up. Because you don't want him to decide when he's going to come and when he's not going to come. But remember, you're only trying to do that. This is the very first time. So if you have to, stick the kibble in front of his mouth, and he'll probably pay attention to you, and back up. And just back up 2 steps. And as soon as he takes 2 steps to get to you, give him the kibble. Like right now. So his understanding has to be, I am moving towards mom. She is going to give me a piece of food. I'm moving towards mom. She's going to give me a piece of food. I'm moving towards mom. She's going to... And all of a sudden, you know how quick he is. He learned how to sit in a matter of a day. So 3 repetitions. You just told me that. He'll learn this in 3 repetitions if he realizes,
hell, I better pay attention because she's going to give me a piece of food. All I got to do is come to her. So don't let him get so far away. Don't let him get so distracted. Don't let him get to the opportunity that he can ignore you. Get right in his face, get a little piece of kibble to him, and take 2 steps back. And the second he takes 2 steps for you, give it to him. Command that session. And it might be 10 seconds because his attention span might only be for 10 seconds. But in 10 seconds, get 2 nice repetitions out of it. And then that's it. Now bring him out and make him be steady and make him sit and feed him. Now you're adding on to your lessons. But I want you to start recall now.
Okay, so like in the house, and then like when he's outside, and say he's outside and he's like, I don't want to come to you because then I gotta go inside and go on my place, or then I gotta go in my kennel. So I don't want to come to you. So then he starts going the other way. Well, I don't want to chase it.
No.
I've never chased a dog ever. I actually turned. I went the other way. Well, the thing with him is, if he'll sit there, it's funny. You'll walk away and sound like an idiot, try to get him to come to you, and he just sits down on his butt and just sits and watches you.
Probably thinks it's a pretty good show.
I won't do anything. He just sits and watches.
Yeah. So back up a few. When I had asked you, does he come when you call him? Now, do you get recalled into the house, or does he get away from you? Sounds like he is getting away from you a little bit. Now you got to change that. Can't allow him to do it anymore. So you're gonna have to figure out a way. So you're to that point. You are to the point where he's kind of distracted, doesn't want to pay attention. He's gonna go do his own thing. So all the more reason you need to firm up your recall, and it won't be outside. You won't get it out there because you're practicing or trying to get him to recall with too many distractions, and he's enjoying the show. Like he sits down and watches you and goes, "No, I don't think so." So you're right. You missed the boat on it. Now it's not a big deal. Fix it inside. Fix it in the house and get it good. And then when you go outside, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen. So set yourself up for success. If you got to put a little lead on him, if you got to put a little lead so he can't run away, you put him on the lead. You take him outside, put it on a flat collar. Take him outside, put him down. He goes to the bathroom. Tell him how good he is. Pick him back up and bring him in the house. Now he doesn't have a chance to run off on you, right? Because here's
run free around the house.
Yeah, totally.
She always either on her plate.
No, not around the house. In the house? No, she does not run around in the house. No.
So she's either on her plate or you put her in her kennel, unless you're training her.
Or now she's getting to the point where she's getting pretty good at remote sit, and I can have her sit and just stay in one spot. Yep, that's what she does.
Okay.
And she's happy as can be. Trust me. Because I think a lot of people go, oh, that's terrible. Well, I'll tell you what. This puppy has been petted by more people than most dogs will get petted by in their life. Like this dog has gotten more affection, attention, and love at the events that we've been at with her than most dogs will see in their whole life. I promise you that. And the only reason she's been able to do that is because I know she's not going to get into trouble. Because she's on her place, she's in her kennel, or she's with me under my supervision. Now, I'll walk through the house with her, sure. She's right there with me. But I don't let her just run around and do whatever she wants to do. I don't let any of my dogs do that. Because that's a sure way that's a sure way of getting in trouble.
Some messages after we talked that last time, I had a couple messages saying that just seems cruel and your dog's going to get bored and get too excited and they're going to chew up their bed and I had people sending me messages about it.
Has it happened to you yet?
No, not at all.
I tell them to watch the videos. Because I had a gal once. We did a show, trade show. I brought Taylor with, and I'm surprised she had hair on her back by the time we left because she was petted 10,000 times at least. I mean, she got more attention than any dog I've ever seen at a show. I mean, it was just constant. And it was a trade show. So it wasn't a consumer thing. We weren't selling anything. It was buyers and business people. So all of a sudden, now I think my pup might have to go out. So if anyone who's watching on live, I think my pup has to go out. So I'm going to pick her up. I'm going to take her outside. But I'm going to tell this story quick, and then I'm going to come back right in, Nicole. So this gal comes up to me, and she says, that dog's been on there for 3 straight days. I said, yes, she has. And my Taylor's just laying there sleeping. I mean, just curled up in a ball. And I said, yeah, she has. You know, she really enjoys it. She goes, I think that's rude. I think that's cruel for you to do that to that dog. She hasn't been able to get off of that bed except when you take her out to the bathroom. Or you go back to the hotel, or you go, to feed her in that. I said, yeah, you're right. I said, how is that cruel? And she said, dogs are meant to run. Dogs are meant to be, free. And I said, where's your dog? I said, do you have dogs? She said, absolutely I do. I said, where's your dog? Well, it's at a dog sitting thing because I'm here all week. I said, what do you think's going on at the dog sitting thing right now? She goes, well, they got a pen. They put them in a pen. It's 5x5 or whatever. Each one has their own individual pen. I said, really? You think that's more enjoyable than this? And she said, well, I could never bring my dog to something like this. I said, why is that? Because she'd never be able to sit still. I said, that's the reason. If you taught your dog to sit still, you'd be here and she'd be petted 10,000 times instead of stuck in a 5x5 pen to get let out and fed twice a day. So she looked at me and she goes, I never thought about it that way. If people think putting them in, you're going to see people, Nicole, that say putting them in a kennel is not fair. You shouldn't kennel them up. That's putting them in a cage. Yet I'll leave the door open and my dogs will go lay in it. People don't understand that. It's safe to them. So hold on one sec. I'm going to let this pup out because I don't want her to pee on everybody in front of the bed. I'll look like a bad trainer. Hold on one second. All right, guys. I'm